Hello, Studio World. This is Marcus Marshall from MEC Productions and iTracks Music Group. I'm sitting here in my home studio, and I just wanted to make a quick video about these little guys and my DAW choice, which is Studio One, made by Presonus, which is Studio One version 2. A lot of people on the blogs and on the videos, like Gear Sluts and on the Presonus blog, have been complaining that. Or been requesting and complaining, depends on which side you're on, that Studio One does not have Yukon implemented in it. And Yukon is a protocol that was developed by Euphonics, which was the original company that made these guys. It replaces Huey, or not necessarily replaces Huey, but it's a newer, more robust. It has a lot more features. You can communicate a lot better. You can do a lot more stuff with Yukon. It's been a pain for people that had multiple units and wanted to use Studio One. They really didn't work right. Faders were acting weird as far as banking. You couldn't really use the touch screen on the artist control or your MC control, depending on which version you have. But I got it all working, and I just wanted to take a moment to actually show you how to set it up, get it all working, and just do a quick demonstration for you guys. Excuse the mess. I'm waiting for a new desk, so I have everything, kind of thrown around. I got one here to my right, should be your left, and then I also got one sitting right here underneath one of my other ones. But I just decided to pull them all out, connect them, make this video just to show you guys, and then I'm going to clean up my mess after this video. So let's get right in. All right, everybody, here we go. So I got a new Studio One session open. We're going to actually start from scratch here. So the first thing you want to do, you actually want to install all the drivers that you need to install. So on the Avid's website, after you register, you'll be able to download the software. Right now, if you right-click on here on this E with the circle on it, that takes you to the U control, which is the Yukon settings, or the U control settings. And it gives you this settings box here. Right here under this first tab is surfaces. So it shows you all your different surfaces, which I have a MC control connected, a MC mix, well, actually 3 MC mixes. I also have an MC transport right here, but right now it's not connected because my router unfortunately only has 5 ports, and the 5th port right now is taken up by my Mac. So I have one control, 3 mixes, and then my computer, so that's a total of 5. So that's the only reason why I do not have this set up right now. I have tested it by switching one of them, and it works. Pretty soon I'll be getting a 8-channel router. It seems to only come in either 5, 8, or 16. So I'm going to get an 8-channel switch or router, and be able to connect all these units once I get my desk, my bigger desk to fit them all. If you scroll down here a little bit, it says automatically add. So you can either add your own surfaces, which is my surfaces only, or all surfaces. So right now I only want all surfaces, because I want every surface that I have connected to be automatically added to my list of surfaces. If they're not in here, what you want to do is just go ahead and remove all these. Excuse the noise in the background, that's my kids. Alright, so as you can see, all the units have the Avid logo that popped up. If you're on an older version, you may see the Euphonics logo pop up. And then also, one of the other things that you want to do is, well, first let's go ahead and double click it. I added the MC control, and I'm going to go ahead and add the mixes. I can either double click or hit the add button. So let's go ahead and add all these units here. And now all of them are connected, and as you can see, they're out of order. I manually went in and actually named these 1, 2, and 3 for all the mixes, because if not, you can get confused because they only show up as MC mix. So if you do like a slow double click, you can go in there and actually name it, name it whatever you want, and but we're just going to name this MC mix 1, and I'm just going to pull this up here. As far as the control in Studio One is still a little weird. It works great, but since Huey is a 8-channel protocol, whatever, meaning that it looks to see 8 channels of control coming in, and the MC control only has 4 faders and 4 actual displays for those channels. Sometimes the boards can get a little confused thinking that there's 4 additional channels in here, and actually skip some stuff. So I'll show you what to do with that later. Me personally, and it really depends on your actual workflow, I normally put it down at the bottom because these this will be the actual order of the control surfaces. And there's another way in Studio One that you can switch them around. But right now, for any program, you want to line them up in here to work correctly, depending on how you have your desk arranged. Right now, I have them all out of order. This is going to be Unit 1. This one should be Unit 2. We'll check that later. And this will be Unit 3. And then we'll have the control as number 4. So as we bank, we'll see the faders, go in that direction. So it'll go from here to here to here to here. Sorry for the confusion. Like I said, I'm waiting for a bigger desk to fit them all. Maybe once I do that, I'll make another video. But until then, let's go ahead and get everything connected. So right now, I'm pretty much done in this window. We don't have to really worry about the other tabs right now. Later on, you may want to get into the soft keys feature, because you can program your own buttons here for the touchscreen. But I won't get into that right now, because right now we really want to talk about the actual connectivity and setting up in Studio One. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this or whatever. It's still open, but it's just open in the background. I'm going to go here into Studio One. So if I click up here in Studio One and go to the preferences and click on external devices, I'm already here, but you may have to click here on external devices. We're going to want to add some devices. So let's go to the add button. And I'm sorry, I already have everything kind of sitting right there, mainly because I already had this set up and I just went on and redid it, just so deleted everything so we can start from scratch. All right, so we want to scroll through the list here and actually look for a Mackie control. You know what? Before we even get to that, let me go back to one more step. You have to go to the Apple here and go to the preferences, system preferences. I'm sorry. I have two screens here, so let me move this over. And you have a little app here called Yukon. So you want to click on Yukon, and one of the things you want to do is go to your applications folder. So if you go to your applications folder and find Studio One, you want to actually drag this in here. So I'm not going to drag it and drop it in here, but you want to drag your app into here and set what protocol you want, which you can either do Mackie control or Huey, and which actual channel. So this is the Yukon MIDI channels or MIDI ports. So this is what you're going to use in Studio One or your DAW that has Huey or Mackie control. And this is what you're going to use to actually communicate back and forth between the Yukon applications that translate the Yukon protocol to the control surfaces and the program. So this is how you get the actual software to start to talk. Once you add this to here and you're ready to stop, also you want to make sure that for your router, everything that's plugged into your router, well, if you're going to have multiple control surfaces, you have to use a router or a switch. It's no way around it. One Ethernet port to your computer, and that's all that will communicate. So if you connect it, if you're trying to use like the two Ethernet ports that's on your Mac, it's not going to work. So make sure you get a router or a switch. Plug them all up into the router, and the router or the switch gets connected to either your Mac or your Windows computer. I'm also demonstrating this on the Mac, so sorry Windows guys, this should work. I haven't tested it. It's working fine on the Mac, so if someone wants to actually try it, let me know if it works. That's great. So once you actually close out of this, it's going to ask you to restart it, but since I didn't change anything, it's not going to ask me to reboot my computer. So you are going to have to reboot your computer once you add that in there, and then you should be done. Once you're ready to start adding your MIDI controllers, go back into Studio One under System Preferences. I'm sorry, under Preferences. So let's go here under Preferences. And here's your preferences under external devices. And right here in the left hand corner of this window, there's an add button. So let's go ahead and add some control surfaces. So we want to scroll down to Mackie and we want to go to Huey. Okay, sorry, I had to go. I'm back now. First you want to go to the receive from, and here in the receive from, you see all your Euphonics MIDI Euphonics ports. It says Euphonics because, like I said, Euphonics wrote this protocol, so it's going to show up as Euphonics, and it's not going to say Avid. Our first channel, as you remember back from our system preferences, we set up ports, MIDI ports 1 through 4 to work with Studio One. So I'm going to use Euphonics port 1. For the input, and also the send to. So you have to set up a receive that communicates to Studio One and something that's sending out of Studio One back to the control surface. So I'm going to use Euphonics port 1 for the send also. So the send is an output and the receive is an input for the program. So don't be worried about setting up port 1 with port 2. It's 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. The next thing you want to do, let's go ahead and hit OK. You want to go back in here. Unfortunately, you can't do it right then, but you go back in here and just put a number 1 by there, because this is going to be Huey 1. This is going to be important later, and I'll tell you why. We're going to add another one. So let's go ahead and add, port 2. And I'm not going to make you sit here and wait through this. So I'm going to go ahead and set these up, and I'll be back once I set up everything. All right, I'm back. All right, so after you set up all 4 of your Huey controllers or MIDI ports, we want to go ahead and first hit OK. So as you can see, if you look at my control surfaces, you might not be able to see too closely, but all of my control surfaces showing the same exact thing. I have the kick here on this first channel. On this other controller, I have kick. Same thing with the sub kick, snare, tom 1, tom 1, tom 2, tom 2. Same thing over here. I'm not going to do a close-up, but trust me, everything right now, it looks exactly the same. And this has been the problem for most people using these control surfaces with Studio One, is that once you get past 1, you really can't do anything. And as you can see, when you bank with some of these other controllers, it's only the first 2 up here that's moving. The other 2 control surfaces aren't moving, which is a big issue. You've invested all this money and you can't use your faders. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to actually fix that or remedy that. What I end up doing, I RTF'd them. I read the effing manual. I just came across this. I know us professionals in the audio industry or the audio world or music world, we like to dive right in. We just dive in and just try to figure stuff out. Things should work how they're supposed to work. And we think we know it all. Unfortunately, in this case, I didn't know it all. And I happened to come across this on accident after many months of just waiting for a Yukon remedy for Studio One. So let's go back into preferences. And under here, you have a great button called placement. And this is actually really a great button. It's a really cool idea, and I wish some other DAWs actually did this. So let's go ahead and hit placement. And as you can see here, it actually shows us all 4 of our Huey controllers here in this ungrouped section. And up here at the top, you have 4 different groups. You have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. The cool thing about these groups is that you're able to actually add controllers as a group. So you have to actually group your controllers. So I don't know if anybody who has Huey controllers, just actual Mackie Huey controllers with extenders, are having these same issues. I don't know. I don't own one. I used to own them. I don't own them anymore. I own the Avid controllers now. But let me know, please leave me your feedback. Let me know if you're having the same issue, because this might actually fix your problem. Like I said, I can't test it, but here we go. Group 1, I'm just going to start dragging my control surfaces. So this was 1. Now I'm going to add 2, which is here. So now, as you can see, the faders change. I'm going to just pull this back out just so you can see that. As you can see, it changed back to kick 1, sub kick, same thing up there. So now once I add that, now it changed to pad. So now this is my next section of controllers. The next thing I want to do is add number 3. Like I said, my control here or whatever, because it only has 4 faders and expecting 8, I normally either add it last or I add it to a separately different group, and I do some crazy stuff with the faders here, like an auto assign, or I may permanently attach a certain fader here, and that's done through the Yukon software. Even though Studio One does not use Yukon, anything that's running on the Mac is actually Yukon aware. So you're able to do some pretty cool stuff, even though it's not it's still communicating with the faders to Huey, but it's still using the Yukon protocol, the Yukon setup, to actually control your faders. So it's pretty much just translating that, so you're able to do some cool things. So I'm just going to add this to group 2 and just just leave that in its own group. Just to explain the groups a little bit more, how I understand it is, say you have a big control room, or say you're a solo act, you're the audio engineer, you're the songwriter, and you're the performer, and you need to record yourself. So you have a control room, and you actually have your studio or your live room, and you may have a keyboard and a mouse, which actually in my vocal booth here, I'm not going to take a tour right now. I'll do a tour of my studio once I get my desk and everything, and I'll show you. It's a pretty small room, but it's pretty cool. But I have a vocal booth, I have a keyboard, I have a screen, and I have a mouse in there. What I can do, I can grab one of these little controllers, take take it in there, put it in its own separate group, so it pretty much mirrors what the other group is doing. So you have two separate control surfaces working independently. There's still some finicky stuff using the Avid controllers doing this, but I'm pretty sure it works phenomenal in Huey or any other types of control surfaces. You know, maybe you have these Artist Control Series and you may have a Huey control surface laying around. Like I had one for a long time and I sold it, but if I knew this was around, I probably would have just kept it and put it in my vocal booth, you know, for a separate control surface. But you can put it in group 2. But I just put this in group 2 just to get it out the way. But now since my other controllers are here in group 1, you can see that I have different tracks on here. My first channel is kick, my 8th channel is overhead right. I have pads here. I have a track that's labeled track. I have Vox 1 and Vox 8. And now I'm just going to go ahead and just bank through here. And as you can see, my control surfaces are banking differently. Okay, so now since I have everything set up, I have different tracks on all my control surfaces except for this unit. And that's mainly because I got it in a different group. But as you can see, it's banking independently. It's also nudging, so I'm sorry, I was just nudging just now. And I can nudge from any of the surfaces, or I can bank from any of the surfaces. Even this guy I can still bank even though it's in a separate group, and it's still going to bank, you know, all my faders. Like I said, this is in a separate group, so it's still banking a little differently. But it's still working here. But everything's totally independent. Now I got all my control surfaces working in Studio One separately. I have my start, my play. Sorry, actually I have to get out of here, so I'm gonna go ahead and close these preferences here. I can go ahead and play.
Be a friend, be a helper,
I can rewind, as you can see. Let me actually, I'm not gonna use my mouse real quick. I'm gonna zoom in. I can zoom in, zoom out, jog a little bit, or shuttle. Let's zoom out here. Go ahead and I can play.
to the purpose, keep me grounded, keep me close, surrounded by your.
The artist that's actually playing in the background is Risa Renee here from the Washington, D.C. area. She's one of the winners of Apollo, Amateur Night at the Apollo. She just dropped the album on iTunes, so make sure you check it out. We just did a live performance, and that's what you're actually listening to. But back to the control surfaces.
Wisdom keep me humble.
They're all working. They're great. You can do some of the special features like holding shift. There's on all the mixes, you actually have transport controls, and I can hold down the shift button here and hit play, hit stop. So even if you don't have a control or transport, you can still actually transport with these guys. Same thing with the fast forward or rewind. You still have that stuff. You can hit play, stop. Let's see. Also, let me bank over. I have a couple vocal tracks. I'm gonna go ahead and arm these guys. Oops, sorry. I actually have a loop back, so sorry. I need to mute this. So I mute this channel. I'm gonna go ahead and hit record. And as you can see, if I hold shift here and hit record, able to actually record here. And that track is right here. And you're actually hearing my speakers, and you're also hearing my vocals coming through that track, so we don't really care about that track. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it from here. I can stop it from there. There's a lot of cool things, even the soft keys. You can set up some soft keys on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up a soft key real quick. Just do something simple. You can kind of get creative. Choosing this first one here is gonna be a command. I'm gonna add a key, and I'm gonna do a save button. So I'm gonna just hit command plus save, and I'm gonna call this button save. You can also go in here and change the color of that button. And as you can see, it changes on the control surface here. I'm going to keep it green because I like save for green, because green always means go or you're good. So I'm going to keep that button as green. And now if you close this, now I have a save button. So right now it's not going to work because I didn't do anything. So let's go ahead and record something here. and then just hit save. Now it saved my session. Go ahead and delete. You can even do it. Let's do a delete button real quick. Let's do that, and let's see. Let's use this button. Just do a command. Let's do a key, and I think it might. Here we go. Delete. Just call that delete, and I'm gonna name this key delete, and I'm gonna make this red. And close this. Now I have my delete button. So I'm gonna highlight that, hit delete, and it actually deleted it out of my session. So as you can see, this controller still works pretty good, and you can think of some crazy stuff. You can kind of make some macros and different things, even with the control surface, just how it is in Huey, because you still have the backend protocol that's sending information back and forth to the program without having UConn. So there it is in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. There you go. It works. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at mmarshall@mecprosound.com. That's MECPROSOUND, prosound.com. Or you can hit up my website at mecprosound.com. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave your comments, questions, any other requests, and see you soon. Hope you enjoy.